On page 281 of Middlesex by Jeffrey Eugenides, Cal, really Calliope, is starting to realize that she isn't developing like the other girls. She notices, lowering my book, I looked down at my body. There it was as usual, the flat chest, the nothing hips, the forked mosquito-bitten legs. At age 12, Cal is beginning to get the first inkling that he or she is on a different developmental path than her peers. Cal becomes very accepting very quickly of how she is different than the other girls. And the story would play out, I think, very differently if instead of this acceptance, Cal had been reluctant or resistant to some of the change that his body was going under. If he had been more reluctant or hesitant to accept who he was or who he was becoming, the amount of emotional distress that he might have felt as he aged could have been very intense and would probably have not led to the pleasant story that we do read when we're reading Middlesex. Although Cal has to struggle to discover who he is, at least being accepting of it makes that transition a lot easier. As he starts to age, as he starts to come into his own, on page 304, Cal describes how he began to, quote, exude some kind of masculinity, in the way I tossed up and caught my eraser, for instance, or in the way I dive-bombed desserts with my spoon, in the intensity of my knit brow, or my eagerness to debate anyone on anything. This is only the beginning of Cal's transformation from growing up a girl to becoming an adult male. And it's something that here in California, we are often a lot more accepting of than other parts of the country and other parts of the world. Right here in the United States, a state like North Carolina has passed House Bill 142, which would restrict a person's bathroom usage to the bathroom that they were assigned at birth. For someone like Cal, who was born a woman, born a girl, but is obviously starting to show signs of male testosterone and other masculine forms of gender, Cal would be the type of person that would be restricted to a female bathroom in the state of California while looking nothing like a female, especially as he makes the conscious decision to become an adult male. Cal, as he ages, will look more and more masculine, but would still be forced to use a female restroom. And I just don't see how a short-sighted law like North Carolina's, based in science that we have moved beyond at this point, is in any way beneficial to society. Although Middlesex and Cal are fictional stories, fictional characters, it sheds a real light on the problems that exist with a discriminatory bill like the one from North Carolina. As Cal is starting to learn more and more about who he may become, on page 327, he describes his increasing attraction to one of his high school schoolmates at his all-girls school. When the light illuminated the capulars dangling between the cups of her brassiere, did Calliope feel any inkling of her true biological nature? Did she ever, while the obscure object passed in the hall, think that what she was feeling was wrong? Yes and no. Cal was beginning to know that he was experiencing feelings very different from the females at his school. Because of this, Cal begins to insert himself in the obscure objects, his crush, into the obscure object's life in ways that peers would have done if they were trying to date. Not only was Cal angling for her time, but he managed to work his way to be her study partner for their upcoming class performance. Cal is beginning to understand that regardless of what his gender says is normal for him or for her, he is attracted to girls, to women. And this not only changes the way he acts in school, but it has a profound impact on him as he eventually decides to shed his life as Calliope and move away from his family to embark on his life as Cal.